Welcome to YouTooSpain, broadcasting live on YouTube. On today's show, I'll be talking with our best mate Chris from Upsticks about the NIE number. Yes, it is a number, not a card. Chris will be clearing up that common mistake people make on social media and telling you everything you need to know about this very important number. So what's it for? How do you get it? Where can you get it from? And lots of other things. All of the answers will be here. And if you're watching the video back after the show, there will also be chapter headings along the bottom here so that you can find the exact answer that you need. There'll be loads of handy information and lively chat for you from beginning to end, so stick around for the whole thing. You're all very welcome to YouTooSpain. Still alive, and let's dance. There, perfect. Groovy, baby. Right then, just before we get chatting, don't forget to sign up for free to the monthly newsletter from our website, YouTooSpain.com. That comes out every first of the month. So the latest one has already come out. So you've got 3 weeks to do that, but do it soon so you can take advantage of that. And of course, enjoy a free account and advice from our lovely friends at Smart Currency Exchange, whom I highly recommend for when you're moving or buying a house here. But do use the link below to get in touch with them. That helps YouTooSpain out at no extra cost to you. That is also available on my Linktree link. That's the first link in the video description. And I'll probably put that in the comments as well. So all of that is a win-win-win with a cherry on top. So without further ado, let's meet our wonderful guest for the day. It's Chris from Upsticks. Morning, mate. How you doing?
Morning. How's things?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. There seems to be a lot of illness going around. Everybody's feeling a bit rough today. I even made the mistake of putting. I woke up this morning and this thing came up saying your show's going live at 9 o'clock this morning. So I'd set all of that wrong. So yeah, I've had a rough head. You've got bed hair today. You're looking good.
Yeah. So I was a little bit. I didn't realise I was working this morning, and I was like, "Oh, it's 9:15. I better jump in the shower." Shower hair.
Brilliant.
That's
that's
about as stylish as it gets.
Fantastic. Yeah, so Liz has been ill overnight, and Oscar, our son, he had a tonsillectomy during the week, and he's back in hospital, just as being checked up to make sure everything's all right there. And even Ant and Kez were feeling a bit rough, but I can see that they're all on. They're here with us on the live chat. That's fantastic. Not too ill at all. So actually, let's say good morning to not only them. Ant and Kez say, "Hola a todos, F off Freddy, and peas and fluff, and staying alive, and I will survive," and all of the usual stuff. And morning Robbo, and Alicante, and Adam Farmelo, sitting here in Wolverhampton, wondering when the sun will be turned on. It's Wolverhampton. There's no telling. And morning from Steffi and Paul Cook, and good morning to all of the others that are joining us, and thank you to whoever it was who has already hovered over the GoFundMe and hopefully made a donation there, that thing that's up in the top left hand corner of your screen there. And it was Robbo. He says he's just donated €50 to the GoFundMe page. And just a little thank you, because without you I wouldn't be where I am now with Chris. Thanks, mate. Lovely. That's very kind of you. And Sarah Bolt says good morning from Germany, and she's paired up with your channel, which is brilliant. So everybody, if you've got a spare tab on your browser or however you're watching, then also go in and set this going on Chris's channel, on the Upsticks YouTube channel, and so that Chris can benefit from all of those lovely watch hours. There you go.
Does help. It helps people direct people to the channel. I think since we've been pairing, we noticed a bit of a spike in subscribers as well. So it's slowly creeping up a little bit. So that's good.
Yeah, fantastic. And also, I keep saying this to people. The Scatsman YouTube channel is where my video diaries are going to be only on there. Eventually, I think it's at the end of May, I'll say, I'm going to take them off this channel, the YouTooSpain channel, and put them just on the Scatsman channel. You can get them on both at the moment. I'm running them in parallel. But make sure you sign up for that, subscribe to that one. It's completely free, so that you can continue to get the notifications about those and follow the story. So that's enough about all of that. We're talking about the NIE, so we're going to cover everything you need to know about it. It's a very important thing. So, Chris, what is it?
It certainly is, and this time of year is always when it comes up again, because it's a time of year where everybody's looking to move over, as we say, like looking to move over towards the back end of the 183 days in the year, and this is when the questions of NIEs come up, So the NIE is, in Spanish, it's the Número de Identidad de Extranjero, and that's what the NIE stands for, and that's basically your ID number in Spain. So every single foreigner who has any sort of interest in Spain, be it fiscal or wanting to move here, is going to need this number.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we're going to talk about is how that number is obtained and reflected on various documents, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is. Yeah, it translates to foreigner's identification number. There we go. Yeah. If you didn't know that. So people who aren't foreigners, that means Spanish people, have something called a DNI, which means domestic.
Documento Nacional de Identidad.
Yeah. So there you go. That is exactly what it is. And people do get confused on social media when they're talking about, I've got my NIE, and when they talk about that, sometimes they mean a certificate. Sometimes it means your residency card, which is TIE. So just clear that whole thing up for us.
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest thing that you hear on social media, isn't it? I've got my NIE card, and the that normally comes from people who are mistaking one of the types of the residency cards for an NIE card. It's not. It's a residency card. So the first one is the green EU residency card that people always refer that to the NIE card. No, that green card, it reflects your NIE number, because on every residency card it has your NIE number on there, but that is actually your registration of residency card as an EU citizen. When if you're a third country national and you've had a visa, or you're EU family member, whichever format, or you've got permission to be in Spain, and you've registered for your TIE card, which means Tarjeta de Identidad Extranjero, that is your residency card. It's not your NIE card, but your NIE will be on that card.
Mm-hmm. Well done. That's very clear. You should know by now. I don't know why I'm saying well done. It's like being really patronizing to you. You've been doing this for a long time. You should know. And that is good. Let's just say hello to everybody else that's joining us. We have Marie Dye. She says, morning guys from sunny Benablon. Yeah.
Is it Benagabon?
Benalgabon. Oh, it's near Caravaca de la Cruz. Whereabouts is that? So maybe it is.
That's close to Jumilla. That's Murcia, I think, Caravaca de la Cruz.
Is it? Fantastic.
I think.
You learn something new every day.
Jumilla way. I don't know. Let us know.
Yeah, tell us all about that, Marie. And David Tunner says, morning Scatz, special shout out to Chris. Just waiting for P45, then we'll be in touch to book an appointment. Can't wait. Can't come quickly enough to get away from the British weather.
Oh.
There you go. And morning from Barry from Unitech. Hello from a wet Warrington. Yes, famously wet. Not you, Barry, but the Warrington. So there we go. So another confusion and frequently asked question is, does the NIE only last for 3 months?
Right. Okay. So no, the confusion comes with the NIE with the 3 months. So if you're, if we take residency out of the equation, and you need an NIE number for something, so that thing, having an NIE number, say, for example, you are a non-resident, but you're buying a holiday home to start with, which happens an awful lot, then you're going to need an NIE number to be able to do that, because not only are you going to need that for the notary, you'll need it for the subsequent tax payments and etc. A lot of people, we recently had a case where somebody had a holiday home which was in the husband's name, and the wife wanted to bring a vehicle over and register that vehicle in Spain and leave it at the home. You can do that as a non-resident, but he had the NIE number and she didn't, because the house was in his name. So we had to get the NIE number for the wife first to be able to complete the vehicle registration. Some people need an NIE because they're preparing their residency, especially EU citizens, maybe with for self-employment reasons. They need to get one first to be able to get registered or a job. And so that's why you would need a NIE certificate before residency, really. Now, the NIE certificate itself is when you go and apply for an NIE, you'll get a piece of paper, it's white. And that actually, in most occasions, says at the bottom of it, the certificate is valid for 3 months. Yeah. All right. Doesn't mean the number's valid for 3 months. The number is for life. Okay. So you'll always have the same number. The validity of the certificate, basically, in some authorities, when you need to use the certificate, they request confirmation of the NIE, and they believe, like as we know with a lot of the documents that we always talk about, that a recently dated document within 90 days is proof that that's still a current and valid document with a current and valid number. And that's where that confusion comes from. So the NIE number is for life. The certificate, depending on where you're using it, you may have to get an updated one.
Yeah, I don't think I've been asked for my NIE certificate at all while I've been here, except maybe when I was getting my first Padron certificate. I think maybe they asked for it then, but even then they can just ask for your, my EU
that's it.
resident
You
card.
can essentially now rip up your certificate, set fire to it, make a paper plane, make a hat.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you give ceremonial burning of the certificate because you've got your residency card.
You might get done for that though. That's proper official document. It's like defacing a document.
No.
I don't know.
Not a good idea. Yeah, are you allowed to burn documents?
Don't do it on telly. That's probably it'd be like burning the flag, wouldn't it?
Yeah, don't burn an NIE. Could you imagine that? No, don't burn your NIE certificates. Don't take my advice on that. No, but now, because seriously speaking, if you've got your residency card, well, that now you've got your green residency card. That substitutes that is your proof that you've got an NIE number. You're registered on the system with your NIE. In fact, you wouldn't be able to. That is your ID document and the proof that you've got your NIE. You don't need that certificate anymore, basically. That supersedes that.
Good word, supersedes.
Yeah. That's not bad for 10:15 on a Saturday morning.
Not bad at all. Yeah. Considering how rough we all feel at the moment. It's brilliant. Yeah, here we go. So Marie Dye says, by the way, yes, Ben Ablon is in Murcia, however you pronounce it. There we go. So
I can't remember which area that is. Culmia is very famous for the wine over there. And there's, I think, Calaspara is the rice. I don't know. Maybe they can let us know. I know I've done that journey a few times.
Is that specific kind of rice for paella?
Yeah, I think so. I might. Caravaca de la Cruz. I can't remember. I know they do nice goat meals out there as well. But mate, it's been a long time since I've done the journey. But I used to travel that way quite a bit.
Brilliant. Yeah, tell us all about it, Marie. We all need to know. I've not been up to Murcia yet, and I really should visit Sean from Matharon up there, because he had he took a lovely journey down here with Yogi. Are you there with us, Yogi? He's not said hello this morning. Yeah, he's probably in the gym. He's always in the gym watching on his phone while he's jogging along. Anyway,
we should do a road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do a road trip and be on Sean's show. Yeah, cool. So, here's a good question. If somebody is going to be moving here on a visa, should they get their NIE number in advance of the visa and the residency process? Does it help at all?
It depends what your circumstances are, really. So if you don't particularly need one before, because if you have never had an NIE number, they will issue you one in your visa. Okay, so excuse me. The first, say for example, there's no need for you to get one because you're not buying a house, you don't need it to get a car, etc., etc. Then you've never had an NIE number before. Then when you go to the BLS office to make your application, and you get that text to say your visa's coming back in your passport, when that visa comes back, you'll see that there's a space that says this is your NIE number. And then when you come to Spain, you'll never have an NIE certificate as such because the NIE number is assigned to you. The certificate is basically proof of the assignation, is that a word, of the NIE number. And you don't have to get that certificate because you'll have it on your visa. You'll come into Spain, you'll then register the visa with that fingerprint appointment, which we know as the toma de huella. You'll then receive a document called a resguardo, which is proof that you've got your NIE as well, and then subsequently your residency card. So do you need one before? No. Do people get them before? Well, yes. A lot of people get them because they find that if they're looking for a rental, then a lot of the agents prefer to have an NIE number rather than just using a passport to do a contract, for example. That, again, is down to the individual agent. I know plenty of people have managed to get a rental contract using passport. People get Padron certificates using passport.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to hit the ground running. Maybe things like vehicle imports, for example. If you're bringing a vehicle in and you haven't got an NIE number till you get your visa, then there's a few things that we have to do before you can complete that process. If you've got those done already using the NIE number, it might facilitate it a bit more, like registering with a tax office, for example. But no, you don't need to have one unless you're bringing some of your plans forward, like buying a property or a car, and in that case, yeah, you will.
Yeah, I needed mine early because I was going to be self-employed, so I had to sign on with the tax office and social security. So that was the first thing he did for me.
And that's a very valid point, because this is what happens talking about EU applications. A lot of people, we've recently had this now with, because we manage quite a few of the NIE applications for Antonio. So Antonio does a lot of the employment stuff and the self-employment. And when you come, what we have to do is we take the person to the NIE appointment, and it's not a residency appointment. So as an EU citizen, they need to get the NIE number beforehand to be able to get their work contract or be able to register as self-employed. But what we've had in the past is a little bit of a kickback with the extranjerías, and they say, well, if he's going to live here, he's going to apply for residency. So if they are going to live here, they have to apply for residency, which means they have to come with means to live and some private health insurance. Then we'll give them their residency straight away. And it's a little bit chicken and egg. So sometimes what we generally do is we'll go in, we have a sort of an understanding. I approached this extranjería and went, this person needs an NIE to live here to complete the documents, but you're saying that they can't have one until they bring the proof that they can live here, but they won't meet the conditions till we've got it. Chicken and egg situation.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, they were really, really cool. And I said, look, what do I put on the paperwork that pleases you so I can get that NIE number, get the self-employment, and come back and get the residency? And they said, look, just put on there that they're opening a bank account. I was like, okay. So we sort of got around that. So now what we do is we always apply for an NIE because they're going to have to open a bank account anyway. As a non-resident, then they take that NIE away, like you did. Use that NIE, because you don't have to be a resident to register self-employed if you're an EU citizen. Complete the self-employment registration, and then go back to the police station with that once you've got one of your payments under your belt from Social Security, which generates the healthcare certificates, etc., and register for residency.
Brilliant, yeah. My whole process took, mine, it took almost exactly 3 months. It took like 89 days to get mine all sorted out, because I didn't actually register until the start of the next year, because I didn't want to be like paying 2 months worth of social security in like November and December. So I didn't start up my business until I'd been here for a couple of months. So all of that, the paperwork from social security came through like after 89 days, which is just in time for Liz to start her residency application and get her TIE card. So yeah, we were cutting it fine there, weren't we?
Yeah, it did go fine. I think your healthcare certificate came through on the same day, didn't it?
Yeah, everything like was rushed through. So that was a bit mad.
Yeah.
Paul Cook says he's on both channels now. Fantastic. Well done, Paul. Ryan Clark saying, do you help with the digital nomad visa? Good question.
We don't, but Rochelle was on the channel. Is definitely made that her forte, so we can give her a shout out. Definitely. So we're currently referring our clients to this channel.
I was going to say that's Rochelle DeWitt. Ask Rochelle Andalucia. That's the thing to look for on Facebook. She's got the Facebook group there, and that's how to contact her. And there's another person who does the digital nomad visa who's connected with Rochelle as well, whose name I can't remember. I'm really sorry. I've got brain fog today, but she's been on the show talking about it. So have a look through our videos, Ryan, if you need to know things about the digital nomad visa, and get in touch with either Rochelle or the other one. Name's on the tip of my tongue.
But yeah. Parr.
Jane? Not Jane. Somebody Parr it is, yeah.
Louise?
Louise Carr?
Louise Carr, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it was, because Rochelle's sort of she's created a very, very good network. So it's like everything. So with all the visa, and this is quite important to explain. So with all visa applications, everyone has a different sort of method and process. And you need somebody who's doing them quite a lot to be able to know what the current circumstance is. So, for example, getting a visa through Manchester is completely different, non-lucrative from Kuala Lumpur. But what Rochelle seems to have with the digital nomads, like what we have with the non-lucrative, is that if she wouldn't handle it, because I know she does a lot of UK-based digital nomads, then she has got a network of people who do. So there'll be people who maybe specialise or know more about the American side of things, because the paperwork's completely different. So I'd just contact Rochelle, and she'd probably, if she can't help, she'd point in the right direction.
Yeah, I know they're both really, really busy. They were, I remember back in November, they weren't taking appointments before March. So get in touch quickly there, Ryan. Yeah. And Marie saying, yes, Calaspara is not too far away from her. Hopefully they're going to be out there permanently next year, just getting all of our ducks in a row. Ducks in a row is good. Barry says, my Northern Irish wife has finally got the ball rolling and applied for her Irish passport. Oh, you're one step closer, Barry. We'll see you over here one day, I'm sure. And
didn't Barry, who won the mill?
That was she's not on the thing. Bev. Yeah, she's not been over yet.
Bev from last year. Was it Barry who won this year? I think Barry.
I can't remember.
I can't remember now. I've got the prize list here.
Yeah. Was it you, Barry? Tell us all about it. And if not, then why not? Why didn't you win? Okay. I'll tell you what, we're going to keep the show really, really tight today because we've both got stuff to do afterwards. Oh, Barry says, you owe me lunch. Yeah, it was Barry. Good
right,
stuff.
That's it. Barry, you've got to get over. And Bev, if you're watching, that's still pending. It's still there.
Yeah, absolutely. We should just all go out for the same meal all together. Yeah, we'll tie it all up. And Steffi says, yes, it's Louise Carr. We got that right. Carr with a double R. Yeah, so, all right then. So let's go to the halfway stage, the mid-show break. And we have a quick message from me and my alter egos all about the wonderful things available to you as YouTooSpain fans. Take it away, the voices in my head. Here we go. Are you getting the most out of YouTooSpain? Oh no! Did you know that apart from these Saturday morning live shows with expert guests, or expats with really exciting stories to tell, it's like the Graham Norton show. Bah! There are videos every Wednesday evening, packed with all the information you need, so we can move to Spain and enjoy living here without paying tax. No, Colonel, that's illegal. But you can find out how to navigate the bureaucracy successfully. Well said, Walter. How do I find the videos? Just subscribe to the YouTube channel, darling. And click on the bell, you useless Colonel. There's a playlist here called Video Diaries. Oh, now that is Skatz's thrilling personal story about his life and health in Spain. Still alive! Hashtag FOF. You can support YouTooSpain as well, my darlings, if you think you've learned something valuable, or if you've been entertained. Skatz looks like he needs your support. The poor bugger can't even stand up. If he was a horse, I'd shoot him. Colonel! He's not a very nice man. It's all right. He's just a two-dimensional stereotype. Aren't we all, sweetie? I'm not. Brexit! Moving on! So how do we support YouTooSpain? Use the QR code in the corner. Or there's a link in the video description below. I can't find it anywhere, darling. In the video description, you idiot. I've warned you, Colonel. I'll send you back to the nunnery. While you're watching or pausing, below the video, you'll see the title. Just here. Oh, I see it. Not far below that, there's a description of what the video is all about. It says, read more. That's right. Just click or tap on that and lots more text appears. What's the information all about? There's contact information for the expert guests and lots of links to other related companies that I recommend. And they help out YouTooSpain if you use those links to get in touch with them. There's so much down below. Does anyone have a pen? No need, Tommy. You can find everything on our website. YouTooSpain.com. And don't forget the Facebook page. And the YouTooSpain community group, where you can talk to other people like you. There's no one like me, sweetie. Thank goodness. Is that everything? There's a guest waiting to tell me things. Oh, I do like things. Where's Doogie Dog? That used to be his line. I'm stuck behind a wall. Oh, sorry, Doogie. I'll come and find you after the show. Thank you, Master. Get back to the show. I need to go and punch some servants. Oh, Colonel. Back to Skatz in the studio. Oh, poor Doogie Dog. He's still stuck behind a wall. That's so sad. Don't worry. I'll get him out. I've been feeding him. I've been throwing things over the wall. Anyway. By the way, I've updated a lot of the links that I've got below the videos, everyone, and a lot of the things to do with YouTooSpain can now be found on the very first link, which is called Linktree, which kind of gathers all of my links together all under one link, so you can get to it, and it's really color coordinated and very, very easy to use. And Linktree is just free. Just click on that link and you'll see exactly what that's all about. You can even get to the GoFundMe and the buymeacoffee.com, all those kind of things, and some affiliate links. And I'll be adding to that as I go along. It's a very useful thing to use. Yes, I don't know why I'm promoting Linktree, but it's free anyway. So there you go. So let's just get the chat open again to see if there are any more. Yeah, Barry's saying he's a cheap date. Jolly good. So back to the NIE. So you can get the NIE in Spain, or you can get it in the UK, for example, or anywhere else outside. Tell us how to get the NIE in both of those places.
Yeah, so you can get them in Spain. So in Spain, you get them in the Extranjería, and which is a foreigner's office, where you go to also get an EU residency card and register your visa. It's a specific appointment that you have to book. Unfortunately, the appointments they're quite random. So at the moment they're running in around a month's time in Malaga. In other provinces, we've seen they're running 6 weeks, between 2 to 6 weeks ahead. But occasionally you can get cancellation. So you just, like all appointments, you just have to be on the system all the time. Now you can get them if you go in person. or you can also use a representative. Now, if you're using a representative, they have to take a notarized power of attorney. Basically, they call them in Spanish a poder. So you'd have to go to a notary and allow that person to go on your behalf. The difference between other countries and Spain is you can actually go to a notary here and do I like to call them notarized authorizations rather than a power of attorney, because it's not a power of attorney. It literally is you signing authorization for one thing. Yeah. So you can have various levels of authorizations which are notarized for somebody to act on your behalf. Yeah. And it's also quite interesting to know. So for example, if we were just doing an NIE for someone and we needed to go on their behalf, that's all they would request at the notary, just that authorization for us. But we've had it on occasion as well where Antonio's been dealing with something, or an estate agent's been dealing with something, and we have been included in an authorization only to get the NIE when more people are included for other things. And you can do that. It doesn't have to be a separate one, so you can save yourself money. So, for example, if you're working with 2 or 3 different companies, you could say, right, well, who's the representative? Chris, he's only going to do that part. But we then have to have the original document. So when Antonio's organised and submit, he'll send the original power of attorney to me. I'll run and get the NIE number, send it back to him with the certificate, basically. Or a lot of the time when we go with our clients, we just meet them, and generally they can make it, and we just do the translation process there at the appointment. One thing that's very important to mention now for third country nationals, and especially Brits, and how the application has changed for British citizens, is that as a third country national, you can apply within Spain as long as you're here legally within your 90 days. And you have to take a full copy of your passport with you to prove that, using the stamps, that you are actually legally in the country, that you're not an overstayer. And this is where we go back to the passport stamps have to be correct. Now, we recently had one, and I'm going to do an expanded version of this in my weekly update tomorrow. But one of our clients, I was with them, we went in, full copy of passport. I hadn't seen the passport before. We got the full copy on the day. And as they came into Malaga, they'd stamped it as an exit. I mean, that's a complete fail, isn't it, on the border guards? I don't think they... And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was looking and going, well, hang on a minute. That's not... What? What's going on? You know, and so we had the boarding pass. Luckily, powers of persuasion, we managed to convince them that that exit stamp was actually an entry stamp, and they disagreed. There was no... you know, I said, well, you guys are frontier people, and they're frontier people. I think you need to contact them to find out why they got the wrong stamp on it. At that point, they said, look, we're going to consider that an entry because you've got the boarding pass. They added up the days, and they still added them. They didn't add them properly. They came up with, they had to leave in 2 days. They've been here 88 days. I said, look, let's get the certificate, which was the objective of the appointment. Then we can go out and add up the days ourselves, which we did using your very helpful video. With all the links to the Schengen calendars, and it turns out they're fine. So yeah, but what you're going to make sure is that you're here legally, and that also happens for representatives. So if you give somebody a power of attorney, you have to give them a notarized copy of your passport. And the problem that can occur is that if that copy of the passport, you're going to give them a notary, maybe, and then you may leave the country and that person doesn't get an appointment for a month later. Now, that passport doesn't show a corresponding exit stamp. And if you go over 90 days, albeit you're out of the country, when you present that to the administrator at the desk or the policeman, that all they do is add up the days, and well, you've got no proof that the person's left. And if that goes over the 90 days, then they won't give you they won't give you the NIE. So when doing a power of attorney, you still have to be very conscious of the appointment date to make sure that that appointment date is still within the 90 days when you give that person the copy of the passport, albeit you've left. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of complications. It's all in it depends.
Yeah. So as an EU citizen, obviously it's copy your photo page. Don't need any stamps in and out, so it's a lot easier.
So that's getting the NIE in Spain. Does that cover all of that before we go into how to get one outside of Spain?
Yeah, so you'd need your application form, which is the X15, the 790012, which is you would have to most possibly pay that inside the bank because you don't have an NIE number to pay it. So
Good point. Yeah. Can you pay that online?
Not if you haven't got an NIE number. Most of the time you have to go to the bank and pay. Some banks allow payment through the bank machine, like BBVA and CaixaMar. But if you haven't got an NIE number, they'll never allow you to pay it from the machine. So you have to pay that tax at the bank and get a stamp. And remember that a lot of banks don't like you doing it. Even if you're a client, they don't like you doing it, let alone if you're not a client. And they'll restrict you to maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 till 15:15 to be able to make those kind of payments. So definitely check at the local bank. Don't leave it to the last minute to pay it on the day. Obviously, then you'd also take your original passports. That's the documents you need.
Good. So that's in Spain.
Yep. And outside of Spain, you need to visit the Spanish consulate. So currently, at the moment, it's not the BLS offices. They are managing visas, but they don't manage the NIEs. Now, I recently sent an email out to the consulates in the UK, just requesting information and saying, how do clients book an appointment? That was a couple of weeks ago. Only one got back to me. Thank you, Edinburgh. They're actually quite good at getting back via email. And they said basically you have to book an appointment online with them using the email, and then you apply for it there at the consulate.
Great stuff.
7.9. You would pay your tax at the consulate, and you would have to take the application form with you along with your passport as well.
Good. Does that cover everything you need?
Yeah, I mean, that would cover you because the NIE isn't a residency application. There's no proof of healthcare or criminal records or financial means. It literally is the assignation. There's that word again, asignación, they say in Spanish. I don't know if the assigning of a number to you.
Assignment, I think it would be.
Assignment. Assignation.
Assignation might be. An assignation is it? Yeah. No. Got brain fog. Can't work it out. I'm going to look it up while you carry on.
Yeah. If it isn't a word, then it is now.
Yes. We've made it a word.
We're going to make it a word.
Oh yeah, an assignation is an appointment to meet someone in secret, typically one made by lovers. Oh, I say. Or it's the allocation or attribution of someone or something as belonging to something. So, yeah.
Maybe it's not the best word to use for an NIE then.
No, assignment I think is better.
You definitely don't want to be saying to clients, saying, "Do you want to meet me for the assignation of your NIE?"
Yeah. I'm glad we've cleared that one up. I did have it written on my bit of paper, so I was going to look it up, but yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. Recently, now, the one thing, what we have, we're quite lucky in Malaga. They don't ask for too much proof as to why you need an NIE number. Recently, speaking to our colleague Costa in Valencia, he said it's an absolute nightmare there to get one if you haven't got like reels of proof. So if you're in fact sometimes they don't give them. So if you're buying a property, there's apparently they're asking for an NIF to be assigned first instead of an NIE. So I think there are very wild variants between the provinces. As always, it depends as to what they request. Here in Malaga, for example, before, if you said you were doing it to buy a car, you'd have to take the car contract with you. Whereas now they seem to very, very, very loosen the rules, and as long as we give them a good and valid reason and make that declaration on the application form, they're happy with that. In other areas, you might have to take proof as to why you need one.
My next question was going to be, do you have to have a reason to apply for the NIE?
You do have to assign one on the application form. On page 2, it says it says on the back of it, do you need it for professional, social, or personal reasons? I think it is on the back there, and then you have to describe what it is. And really, it's down to the person who attends to you on the day if they decide that they've had a decent breakfast and can be bothered or want to give you a bit of earache and ask for more proof.
Paul Cook says, I already have an NIE number. Does it make the NLV process a bit easier?
No, but it means that you will get and assign your number with the NLV will be your current NIE number will be assigned on that, and then you've obviously got the jump on things like registering with the tax office and stuff like that. So it makes, when getting into Spain, when doing administrative processes, it can make it easier to kick off if you've already got one.
Yeah. So not actually getting the visa. All that means is you just put your NIE number. There's a place on the form, isn't there, on the application form?
There is, yeah, on page 2 of the national visa application form, and the EX01, it goes to the top right, sorry, and also on the tax form as well. You can put it on there in the top left.
Yeah, good stuff. And it's always a very good idea to check once you get your visa that the NIE number is the same one that you were allocated before, because that's happened to some of your clients, I think. I think you've mentioned it before.
Yeah. It's always good. It's always good to check that the details on the visa are the same, especially if you've got any discrepancies, like you've changed your name or something like that.
Yes, I got the thing on with my driving license. I failed to check the expiry dates on my Spanish driving license, and it ran out, and I didn't realise it was run out so quickly. I thought I had 10 years, but there you go. So yeah, check your documents. Always do that.
Hands up, I did that on my last driving license as well, though, so.
There we go. Anyway,
most year again now, but I did. We should have a downloadable PDF, shouldn't we, of like expiry date checklist?
Yeah, we should.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll get that sorted.
Yeah.
There's been lots of good chat going on between. It's all chat that I don't need to put up on the screen here, because it's all people chatting to each other, which is fantastic. They're not no particular questions coming out, so it's lovely to see that you're all
chatting.
yeah. So they're all chatting with each other, but that's very nice. That's what it's for. It's a bit of a community that we have here. And yes, I'm just checking in between to see that there's no questions for us, but no, been talking about Marmanor and lots of different places. Jason's Webb is with us, by the way. Hello, Jason. I didn't say good morning to you. And yeah, he's having a chat with Robbo. I think they're all in a similar area. Anyway, I can read them afterwards. Barry's asking, how long does a Spanish driving license last then, Scatz? Well, normally you'd be given a 10-year expiry date, but it depends on your age. If you're over 60, they'll only give you one up to your 70th birthday. But it depends. So I was swapping an EU license for a Spanish one. And what happens is, depending on the expiry dates of all of the categories on your license, I'll try and explain this in as simpler way as possible. I made a whole video about this, so that's the best place to look for all of this. But in a nutshell, it depends on what it says in the last line of the where you've got all of the different classifications when your expiry date is. If it's more than 15 years in the future, or more than 5 years in the future for the C and D categories, then you need to get your EU license exchanged for a Spanish one within the 2 years. But if not, then your EU license will last for as long as it lasts, up to the expiry date. But anyway, a Spanish driving license would normally last for 10 years if you're under 60, certainly. That's it in a nutshell. I think that covers it, doesn't it, Chris?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and it's 10-year renewal. I think when you're over 70, they can give you up to 5 years here though. Over 70, is it? It's 5 years. Is it 5 years,
or is it? I think the 65 one was a 5 years, or no, I think
65 5 years,
and 70 is 2 years.
All right, it's down.
They're talking. Yeah, they're talking. Yes, it is down to the medical. That's important. They're talking about changing the expiry to 15 years on the Spanish driving license. That's something that's going to be going through later in the year. I think they've talked about it in Parliament and said, agreed it's a good idea. So it just needs to go through the whole law process, I think.
Well, I think that's quite controversial for the psicotechnicals who depend on the 10-year renewals to make their money.
Yeah. I think it's still going to depend on the medical. So we'll see what happens on that. Yeah.
Which it's a comical medical anyway that you have to take, and it depending on where you go, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
known
Liz and
anybody.
I both went into the travelling little van that comes around all of the villages when we first exchanged last year, I think it was. And we both went in one after the other. And I had the sight test, but I don't remember them doing a hearing test. And then I did I went on the machine to do the sort of reflexes that they test and how you react to things. But when Liz went in, she just had the sight test, and she just went straight through, and they did the paperwork. They didn't put her on the machine at all. So that's two people within 5 minutes of each other being given a different test. And she had the full test this time when she went through, when she exchanged this time. So there you go. But that was in one of the actual medical centres. So I presume they're sort of slightly more organised in the places where they're doing it all the time. But you'd think the vans were as well, because that's all they do. They sit in that van all day in different places and just do that medical test.
Right.
Yeah. Cheers. So, this is an interesting question. Clarabelle says, "Hi, Skatz and Chris. I lived in Torrevieja as a child back in the 80s for 5 years. Would I have an NIE number?" You would.
Yeah, you should. Well, it depends. I mean, maybe some people didn't have them assigned back then. I'd love to see that number if you got one. See how early it is. Be an X number, X000 number. That would be back then. But no, you should. I'd suspect if you lived there and you were registered at a school or something, you would have one.
Mm-hmm. I did read somewhere that if it's before a certain date, it was only after a certain date when they said these are for life. I don't know where I read that, but it's just come up in my head, and I can't remember what the date was. I don't know, 2004 is sitting there in my head, but that's
2004 was when they regulated the EU residency.
Oh, okay, that may be where that's coming from now.
That might have come from there. That's when we switched from having the photo cards. So for those who had residency before 2004, we still got a photo ID card as an EU citizen, and that's when they regulated the EU residencies. It's actually that was 2007 though. Well, 2004. This comes from there. I think it was 2004, 2007, but I definitely think that comes from there, where you read that.
Well, that would be useful, Clarabelle, if you were ever wanting to buy property here or coming over here to live. I'd be interested to see what happens when you put that old number, if you can still remember your number. Although you're asking, would I have an NIE number? So presumably you don't have the certificate anymore, or a note of what it is.
That's a very valid point, because if you've lost your number, say you've had one before and you've lost it and you need to recuperate it, then it would actually be a good idea. Say you were going for a visa. When you go for a visa, they have all the information in your application forms, and they will assign you an NIE number if you haven't got one. But if you previously had one, it'd be worth either in your visa application making note of that and actually writing a letter saying that I previously had one, or think I've had one, please can you check for me? Or if you are visiting Spain, maybe going and trying to recuperate that number beforehand, because at that point you would need to have. So we've had it before where people have lost them. We've booked a normal NIE appointment. We've gone with the client, but we've gone with all the information that they can remember from the first time that they actually registered their NIE number. So, if you can remember what police station you did it in, make sure that your name's exactly the same. If you've changed your name, say you've got married, maybe, evidently, and now look on the system using your date of birth and stuff like that to see if they can identify what that previous number was, and then assign you a duplicate certificate, which is proof of your NIE number, rather than assigning you a new one.
Yeah, God, that was going to be one of my questions, actually. What happens if you lose your NIE number? That covers that, doesn't it?
Yeah. That if you lose your NIE number, then basically that covers that. You'd have to go back and request one. Now, on most occasions, it's unlike a residency card. So if you lose your residency card, you would have to do a denuncia and go to the police and declare that you've actually lost it, and then go and get a replacement. Where an NIE certificate, because it's essentially the certificate is temporary, but the number's for life. You just request a duplicate. You don't need to have proof that it's been stolen or anything like that.
Okay, good to know. Mr. Lower Largo, hello there. Not said hello to you this morning. He's over 75 and he got a 5-year license when he changed from British to Spanish in the exchange agreement last year. That's good to know. I don't know if this thing that's going through Parliament at the moment for later this year is changing one or two things to do with the age and the expiry dates on licenses. So we'll do an update on that when it all comes through into law and see if that's changed anything.
If I remember correctly, over 70, it's if when you go to the doctors, they'll look at your health, and if they think that they can only issue you, it's down to the doctor's certificate. So the doctor says, I think you're okay for a year, but I want to see you back in a year. Then what happens is that information, when you go to the medical appointment, is automatically sent to the DGT, albeit you've got your nice certificate, that's already automatically with them. And that, and over 70, that should determine how long your license is, because the doctor might turn around and say, excuse me, we only think we need to see you in 2 years because your eyesight is deteriorating. Or maybe you've got a medical condition or something. Or if you're perfectly healthy, they'll just give you the full 5.
Good to know. Clarabelle says about her NIE number. I did go to school though, but don't have a copy of it, I'm afraid. Maybe in Mum's loft. We'll have to have a look. Yeah, if you find it, then let us know. That would be interesting.
And a lot of treasure. We like lofts.
Yeah. There's always something in a loft that you've forgotten about. So yeah. There we go.
Maybe you find a very early Nintendo that's worth a fortune up there that you didn't know about.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I wish I could find my old teddy bear, but I think it got thrown out. It was one of these with the moving legs and the felt on the bottom and the musical thing in the back where you turned a key, and there were bells in the ears. Really expensive. I think it was from the top London toy shop. Can't remember. Is it Hanley's or something like that? And parents threw it out when I went to university. Idiots.
Oh no.
Absolute idiots. It'd be worth a fortune now because it was in really good condition. Still had the bells and the music was still working. It used to play Rockabye Baby. Yeah, I'm still upset.
I can tell it's hurt.
Yes, the pain won't go away. So there's only one more question that I've got of the basic questions. What's the difference between a third country national getting an NIE and an EU citizen getting one?
Basically, as you said, it's the application. Now, the NIE is for all foreigners, so your number will always be an NIE number. It doesn't matter if you're an EU citizen or a third country national. But when you apply, there's no one controlling EU citizens how long they've actually been in the country if they're applying within the country, but when a third country national, as I said before, is you have to be in a regular situation in the country to be able to apply for an NIE number in Spain. There's no way if you've been here too long or they perceive you to have been here too long that they'll give you one. Basically.
Yes, very good. So, any more questions on the live chat? Is there anything else we've got to say about the NIE before we open it up to the live chat?
I think that's about it. I mean, it's just the terminology that we discussed, isn't it? So remember, it's not your residency card isn't your NIE card. Okay, so if you only got the white NIE certificate, that is your NIE certificate. If you've got the green residency card, that is your residency. We always say the difference between registering and having permission. So an EU citizen has a certificate which proves that they are registered as an EU citizen, and we call that the residency card. If you're a third country national, you'll have a TIE, which is also your residency card, but it's your permission to be in. That's not an NIE card either. So And
Yeah, and a lot of the confusion.
Jane will be happy I said that because that's one of her pet hates.
Yeah, and a lot of the confusion is because people who were here before the withdrawal agreement, the Brexit withdrawal agreement, had the old green card, which they call this the old green card, but actually it's the same card that I've got now because I came in as an EU citizen, and some people have got the even older piece of paper, haven't they? What was that? Or is that just the NIE certificate?
No, you shouldn't have the old one now. No, if you've got the old one now, then seriously, you should have had that updated. No, we should have that. Yeah. So before, what happened was so when we switched from, I'm trying to remember now. I'm going to look whether it's 2004, 2007. I think it was 2004 because Lara's first residency was one of the green bits of paper. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure I'm talking 2004. I got my residency with a photo ID, my very first one in the year 2000. We then had to switch that for the EU format, which was the big certificate, and used to get this huge green bit of paper, which supposedly you were supposed to carry around with you. And then around 2008, they switched that for a little card, like what you have. Mm-hmm. So they realised the green certificate was very impractical. And then when you go for your EU residency appointment, they print out the green certificate and actually punch the card out the middle. They keep one part of it as proof that they've given it to you, and you keep that little certificate which comes out the middle, which is a little card, which comes out the middle. Mm-hmm. Which is NAF. Let's be honest, it's a NAF card, isn't it?
It is a NAF card. I've got mine in my little plastic bit in the wallet, so I don't get it out very often. I don't think I've had to show it to anybody yet. So
it's not proof of ID. It literally is proof of registration as a Spanish resident. It's not proof of ID, and you're not allowed to plastify it or laminate it. And again, most of my horror, we once went to Montreal and the guy behind the desk went, right, now they've got that, make sure you protect it by laminating it. And I'm going, listen, you have to ignore what he says. No, you're not allowed to manipulate that document. Although, I don't know how new you are to the job here, sir, but definitely not. You're not allowed to laminate it because
it's defacing it, isn't it? Yeah.
Defacing it would invalidate the document.
Yeah, I know some people who've done proper copies of it and laminated that, and they hold that in their wallet. But if you have to show a policeman that, they'd go, "That's not the real copy. You're not allowed to have that." And then you'd have to take along your real copy to a police station and prove that. Although I was talking to you about somebody who was asked to do that, and they took it along to the police station, and the policeman went, "Yeah, why are you bringing this to me?" I said, "Because I was asked to by a policeman." And they said, "Oh yeah, fair enough," and just chucked it back in their face.
It's dinner time. What are you doing? It's dinner time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Now, in theory, you're not allowed to make colour copies of official documents.
Yeah.
So
you
can't.
Anyway, so we'll round the show up in a bit. So any more live chat, questions and comments before I tell you who's on next week's show? And while we're waiting for any more questions to come in, let me just remind you that if you have any questions and comments after the show, then put them in the YouTube comments below, not on some Facebook expat group, because it won't help enough people. Put it here so that everybody else will get the answers and the help that you all need for free. It's a win-win-win with a cherry on top. And thanks for the comment from Clara Bell. She's in the early stages of gathering info to move back, and your shows are a wealth of knowledge. So thank you. And let me just gently point to the GoFundMe at the top there, because that's a very good way of showing your thanks in other ways. And everybody else is giving thanks and saying good show. And click the like button, chaps, says Barry from Unitech. Yes, absolutely. And Hans and Kez saying, Kez is getting coffees, says, let you know the weather begins with an S and ends with an E. Shite, as they say in Ireland. So what a difference a week makes. Yeah.
Well, sunny. They're not sunny.
Sunny. Yes, like Sunny Delight. Brilliant. Okay, then. So that is everything. No more questions. Yes, I always say at this point, don't forget to smash the like button, but Barry said it already. And subscribe. Click on the bell if you haven't already, and make sure you do that on the Scatsman channel. And so you'll be the first to know what's coming up each week on the live shows, the midweek videos, and on the video diary. And so let's all say a massive thank you to Chris and give him a virtual hug and a kiss. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
See you later, guys.
Bye for now.
Bye.
So, who have we got on the show next week? We've mentioned his name so many times this morning. Yes, I've been waiting for a chance to get this guest live on the show ever since I moved here. He has been on the show, but not live because he was always busy on a Saturday, so I had to record it in advance. But now he's free at last. It's Antonio the Gestor. He is mine and Chris's Gestor accountant. Highly recommended, very qualified. He'll be talking about tax returns and dealing with Spanish bureaucracy and what being a gestor is all about. So have all your questions ready, or just prepare yourself for a lovely chat. In the meantime, you can ask questions in advance on the Facebook page, Facebook group, or under any of the videos. Thanks everybody on the live chat for joining us once again, or for watching the video back afterwards and hitting the like button and buying me a coffee.com or GoFundMe, whatever. And I'll see you next week, live at 9 o'clock if you're in the UK or Ireland or Portugal or the Canaries, or 10 o'clock if you're in Spain or Central Europe. That's all for this week. Somebody pass around whatever cookies we have this week. Peace and love, peas and fluff. And here's one final message from all of the voices in my head here at YouTooSpain. Bye for now. Goodbye, toodaloo, peace and love, peas and fluff, oi oi, don't do anything I wouldn't do. One more cosmic dance? Alright then. Look mum, I'm dancing. Oh, I'm all a quiver. Let's dance.